What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Observant Lineman. I am your Observant Lineman, Uche Nwaneri. It is time for another First Encounters video. If you're not familiar, my First Encounters video that I did before was on Ray Lewis and my first encounter with him as an NFL player. You can check in the link down below to see that video. This one is going to be on my first encounter with the infamous, notorious Ndamukong Suh.
He's been called the dirtiest player in the NFL. Who is he? Jeff.
Ndamukong Suh, Detroit Lions, one of the best defenders in the NFL. Certainly one of the dirtiest by far, least liked by far.
Least liked by the players, by the fans,
by the players, by everybody.
Now, the lead up to this encounter is a bit more energized, if you will, as this was a year that he was, embedded in a bunch of controversy on the field. One of the biggest being the situation in which he stepped on or kicked or stomped Green Bay Packer offensive lineman.
Ndamukong Suh doesn't like it. He jams his helmet into the turf to start with about 3 times, and then at the end of this is when he makes the kick. There's just no place for that in football. Let's get into this story. So I'll start with our regular Wednesday meetings that we have, Wednesday practice, first day of the work week for us in the NFL. And on this Wednesday, knowing that we were going up against the Detroit Lions, I was front and center as part of the game plan meeting with our offensive coordinator, Dirk Cutter, also with Jack Del Rio, making note that it was going to likely be me and Sue all game long on the line. So this was going to be a game in which I was going to need to be ready for a physical, rough, tough, beat 'em up style game, which that was my cup of tea back then anyway. So I had no issue with that. I was looking forward to that situation. Playing against Sue wasn't anything that I wasn't already used to, and this was a season, in fact, that I had played against a number of premier defensive linemen already. Playing against Greg Ellis from the New Orleans Saints earlier in the season. Playing against Jay Ratliff from the Dallas Cowboys a few weeks prior to that, dominating both of them, by the way. Jay Ratliff had the worst game of his season against me that year. And so for me, I was, I was confident in what I was going to be able to do out there on the field. But that wasn't really the part of the game that I was concerned about. For me, the part of the game that I was concerned about was dealing with all of the extra shit. I was worried about what kind of mentality was Sue going to bring to this game. Was he going to be that dirty player? Was he going to be that guy who tried to get in these little cheap shots when you're not looking, these sucker punches, the kicks, talk trash, do all that. Those were the things that were kind of on my mind. And I felt like if he was watching film on me, then he should know better than to come to this game with that kind of attitude. That's how I felt personally. But in my offensive line meetings that week, our offensive line coach, Andy Heck, was very aware of the situation at hand. If he was getting dominated and if he was getting handled, he was going to resort to extracurricular activities to try and gain an edge. So you got to understand, my mind state through the whole week of practice was, I'm going to be ready to fight this cat. That's how I thought about it. In my head, I said, if this dude crosses that line and decides he wants to go there, then we're both getting ejected from this game because I'm going to be ready to fight, and we're going to fight right there on the field. And that's how I felt. And that's how my mind state was set. It was not to let myself get outside of my game, but if he did decide to cross that line, then I was going to show him what I was really about then. We were going to have a nice little bout right there on the field, and it was going to be it was going to be a situation where we both were going to get fined and we may even get suspended, because I'm not backing down for not 1 second, knowing who it is I'm going against and knowing how he acts in certain situations. So Andy Heck, amazing coach, shout out to him. He told me in the meetings, better be ready, Uche, better be fucking ready. Just to let you know right now, we don't take no shit from nobody. And we were on the same page with that, 100%. So fast forward to the game. In pregame warmups, I'm checking out their side of the field, looking to see if I can find where Sue is at. I didn't know anything about him outside of what his reputation was. His reputation did precede him. He's a dirty player. He's a guy you got to watch out for. So, a couple teammates came up to me through the course of pregame warmups. They gave me their own vote of confidence and said, hey, you're playing at a Pro Bowl level. You don't need to worry about,
this cat, but don't let him do no extra shit out there on the field. You know how we get down. And to that, I gave the affirmative. I said, you damn right. If he wants to play that game, then that's what we're going to do. But I'm still out here to play ball and do my job. I'm not going to let his antics get in the way of that unless he crosses a certain line. Not going to lie, my heart was beating pretty fast this game. Going out on the field for our first offensive series, I was absolutely full of adrenaline, even more so than the normal Sunday game, the normal game day atmosphere. I was absolutely jacked. And I was just kind of ready for that first hit so that I could, release some of that energy, get my rhythm going and, start the process of having a good game. First play of the game, we're lined up and there he is. He gets in his stance, looks right at me. I look right at him, and it was on. I'm like, let's go. It's time to go. That's how I'm going in my head. So gotta say, it was the biggest disappointment that I probably have had in the build-up to play against any player in my entire career. Ndamukong Suh did not say a single word. I mean, he didn't say a single syllable. Throughout the course of this game, Ndamukong Suh did not so much as even attempt at a late push, any kind of over-the-top physicality, nothing. Matter of fact, I felt like he was subdued. I felt like he was sedated somewhat. And I wondered throughout the course of the game, did this guy take some like anti-anxiety or some kind of like relaxation pill? Because it didn't feel like he was really even intent on playing very hard. I dominated this cat. I've knocked him off the ball multiple times, 3-4 yards down the field. Threw him into his defensive end when they're trying to run games. Was able to get my hands wherever I wanted to get them. Was able to do whatever I wanted to do as far as, the blocks go. I didn't do anything dirty, didn't do anything extra, didn't say a single word. Because for me, it's not about trying to impose through trash talk or through, pushing and shoving or trying to be a, tough guy to somebody. That's not how I play the game. I play the game, as a skilled player, as a player who's coming with a physical mentality, but a respectful competitor. I'm not going to do anything over the top. I'm not going to do anything dirty. So for me, it was weird because I would go to the sideline and teammates, on the O-line would ask me, how's Suh? And I had to be honest with them. I said, overrated. And that was me being generous at that point because I didn't really know if he was just kind of saving something in the tank or if he really just was not ready to play this game. I got a lot of coaches coming up to me telling me that I had a hell of a game against him, that he was, he was neutralized. He didn't have a single hit. He didn't have a single tackle. He had one pressure and, and that was that. So for me, my first encounter against Ndamukong Suh was one of disappointment. It was one of underwhelming results. I did not expect that he was going to come and be a lame duck in that game, but he was. At the end of the day, felt like it was a surprise. For a first encounter, it was one that I ended up coming out on top quite easily, as a matter of fact. And but at the same time, I still, to this day, I recognize that the guy was, he's a first round pick. He was an all-world type guy, but when it came to my single experience with him, it just wasn't the same, and it just wasn't the kind of showdown that I expected it to be. So, with all that being said, that was my first encounter with Ndamukong Suh. Let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments down below. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Also hit that bell notification so you can get alerted each and every time I drop a new video. I am your observant lineman, Uche Nwaneri, and this has been my first encounter featuring Ndamukong Suh. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.